Hello, everyone. I'm Zachary Rhodes, Director of Enrollment at John Carey University. I'm glad you've joined us today to review today's presentation on the Tim Russert Communication Department. This session will discuss our communication major, as well as our concentrations in communication advocacy, digital media, and integrated marketing communication. Along with the discussion of academic offerings, we'll get a chance to hear about the hands-on student experience, as well as student success and outcomes. We'll have a chance to hear from two faculty members from the communication department, Peggy Finucane and Bob Knoll, as well as two current students, Morgan Jackman and Gwen Ledrick from the program, and last but not least, a proud alum from the communication program, Eddie Morato. And I will pass it over to you, Peggy.
Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. And thank you all for tuning in and joining us. Our department is named in honor of Tim Russert. As many of you might remember, he was the moderator of Meet the Press. And the reason we're so proud of him is the way he brought the Jesuit values and ideals, the notions of inquiry into his work on a regular basis. He was a very ethical person, and very much his focus was to be as impartial as possible and work with people. And so we think he provides a good role model for us all. And so we're very happy to have been named for him as a legacy. Throughout the presentation, we'll have some brief slides that we'll post. We want you to know who our students are and the kinds of opportunities they have. So you can see her intern in Chicago last summer. She was working on event planning and promotions for Misericordia, which is a large facility there. And so it's really a beneficial opportunity, some real life work experience that she can take into the workplace when she's moving on from being a student. So why communication? The National Association of Colleges and Employers did a survey on job outlooks. Employers identified these two factors, the ability to communicate verbally with others inside and out of the organization effectively, and the ability to create and or edit written documents. Those are among the top 10 skills they seek when hiring a new college graduate. These are the skills that communication majors excel. We really focus a lot of time and effort on developing presentational skills that have significant content. That's where the effectiveness comes in. You can be an excellent speaker, but if you don't say anything, it doesn't matter. And then also working on creating and editing written documents. Very important skills for anyone, but new grads particularly find this kind of this major beneficial when they're in the job search. Our vision and mission statements, we strive to inspire individuals. We want them to be well-versed in the content, in the presentation, but they need to understand, create, and analyze communication as they do it. Our mission is to educate students who are critical thinkers, trained in advocacy and able to an effective communication. Students need to learn theory that helps direct or helps them understand things, but they also need the applied side of it, the internships, and Bob will talk in a little bit about our experiential learning that's going to help students see how the theories explain the work and also see when they don't get held up by the experience that they're having, and causing them to question and to figure out what's wrong, how would you change it. Our curriculum is really, all students in this major are a communication major. We do offer 3 concentrations that I'll get to in a minute, but essentially in creating the curriculum, we wanted to form a broad-based liberal arts approach that also develops students' content-specific knowledge in the area of choice. Having that broad-based liberal arts education prepares them for a world that is changing so rapidly. We could teach them something today and by tomorrow there could be something new. So if we've got this approach to learning that emphasizes analysis, problem solving, effective oral and written communication, students learn how to learn and they can take that to any job that they go to in the future. So as I mentioned, we have 3 concentrations. Students complete the core courses in areas interpersonal communication, research methods, communication ethics, audience matters, those kinds of things. And every student in the major does an internship in senior year. They also choose then as part of their coursework to be in communication advocacy, digital media, or integrated marketing communication for a concentration. Students in communication advocacy learn how to advocate. They become extremely effective in taking the research, evaluating it, analyzing it, synthesizing it, and putting it forth in arguments. Digital media prepares them to work in a wide range of fields, whether it's audio, video, web, social media, but the students understand it. They don't learn to push buttons. They learn to think through situations and to really analyze what's needed, what are the next steps, how to tell a story, those kinds of things. And they can pick up the technical skills within the department as well, but typically those are through the experiential learning opportunities. Integrated marketing and communication is PR, advertising, and marketing, and how they integrate with one another in today's workplace. And so we really want students to have a good understanding of the different components and learn to apply those through projects in the courses. Here's another one of our Russerts who interned in Chicago last summer. He was with Kavanaugh Law, and as a result of his internship, Mike decided to go to law school post-graduation. So internships are powerful experiences. Now, Bob's going to talk to you a little bit about the experiential learning opportunities for students in the comm department.
One of the things that is really exciting about John Carroll is we have these incredible opportunities. Communications is a field that is growing, keeps moving, keeps expanding, and you really need to stay with it. And one of the best ways, and Dr. Funuka will talk about internships in a minute, but while you're a student here, besides getting the internships, off campus, we have great opportunities that you can become involved in some activities. For instance, we have JCTV, which is a TV studio, which is available for all students starting when you're a freshman on, where we will train you to produce and put together television programs. We have the facilities, we have the time, and we encourage students to become part of that organization, to actually produce television. That's a great opportunity for anybody, because one of the things about communications today is you have to not only learn a lot, but you have to show what you know. And you have to show what you know, and being part of a television station gives you a chance to spend 4 years or as many times as you have available to work at a TV station, to learn by doing. Then we have this wonderful organization called the Public Relations Student Society of America. This is tied in with the Public Relations Society, and it gives you an opportunity to do projects, to learn about what's going on in the field of public relations and media. It gives you lots of opportunities, and we have an active chapter for that. Then we also have a newspaper called the Carroll News, and which any student, just come the first day when we start the school year, and you could be writing for the Carroll News. We will train you how to become journalists, give you lots of opportunities to write, and get examples of writings that you can then use as you continue to develop your skills as a student. And when you go for a job, you can show, look, I know how to do this. And we've won lots of national awards over the years. So that's another organization. And there's also the Society of Professional Journalists, which is an organization that's been around a long time, where the top journalists in Northern Ohio get together, and the students often have opportunities to get together with them too. So they can develop contacts and develop skills again. And these are all educational, these are all professional. So you really learn what's going on in the world. Then we have an excellent speech and debate team that is run here, where you become active. We train you again to be debaters, to give speeches, and we win lots and lots of awards, not only locally and regionally, but sometimes nationally too. So it's a great opportunity to fine-tune your skills when it comes to public speaking and debating, which can tie in very well, especially those that want to go to law school down the line. Then we also have an excellent radio station, our college radio station, WJCU Radio 88.7. It covers about the counties around here. It's got a nice signal. And it gives the students an opportunity to become active in a radio station, where they can produce their own programs, they can be on air, they can do sports broadcasts. And what's really great about it is that even if you don't have any experience working in radio, we will train you. And that's really the bottom line. As I'm looking at these, these opportunities, we will train you in all these fields. and give you all valuable experience that you can take with you that just add to your knowledge that you're getting in the classroom. So it gives you a chance to really do this. And one of the things that was great about John Carroll, when you're a freshman on, become involved. I mean, this isn't anything where there's a hierarchy where you have to wait till you're junior and senior like a lot of other colleges are. You could be part of these organizations right away. Plus, we have a couple honor societies for communications too. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Finucane, who's going to talk about internship opportunities.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. Bob is one of our treasures in the department. He is very well connected. He's a playwright that's been published internationally, as well as worked in local media. He wrote children's programs. He worked for the television network. He knows everybody. Good person to get to know when you come to Carroll. So internship opportunities. We do require each major to complete at least one internship prior to graduation. The required internship is in senior year, and students work with a company of their choice. They have to find an opportunity. We provide a lot of resources to help people access them, but students are actually, it's like applying for a job. You have to apply for the internship, resume, cover letter, and when you have that internship, then we will work with you for academic credit. You don't get credit for the internship work. What you get credit for is the analysis and reflection. And so this semester, for example, we have 30 students interning in various places, as you can see here, and many, many more. As far as we don't have 2 students at any one place. And our students, the supervisor reports or evaluations come back that they're very well prepared. And on a number of occasions, students have been offered a job at graduation. I know that's the case at Sherwin-Williams and at Cleveland Clinic and at Brand Muscle. And so I think we really prepare students well for that. And the internship is kind of the cherry on the ice cream. So again, here's Christina. She is one of our majors, and she also was in Chicago at Misericordia. She worked on their social media, creating social media plans, and doing a variety of things, helping them to build their social media presence in the Chicago community. We also, as a department, have a number of scholarships that provide financial support to students who earn them. And so as you can see here, they're across all areas, whether you're in advocacy, digital media, or integrated marketing communication. And students are eligible to apply for a number of them. Each year in February, we open up the application, and then we read, and the faculty select the students for each of these areas. And so it's a lot of opportunity. It's quite a significant amount of money, at least $25,000 a year or more we give out in these different scholarships. We also, here's Aiden. Aiden is one of our majors who interned in New York with a television station. Aiden learned very quickly that wasn't his future. He loved the work, but he didn't want to be in that environment long term. And again, that's one of the values of these internships, is figuring out where you want to be, what kind of work you want to pursue, and being able to narrow that down. Knowing what you don't want is as important as knowing what you want. We also offer awards for our students. We have an Academic Excellence Award. The student with the top GPA in the major will receive Academic Excellence Award. The debate, the Dean's Cup and President's Cup awards for debate. The President's Cup goes to the top debater from John Carroll. The Dean's Cup goes to the novice, who is the top novice debater. We recognize students' creativity with a Most Creative IMC Award for portfolios. We have an Outstanding Senior Award that students who are actively involved in the department become eligible for this. It's a recognition of what they've given back to the department and helping support us. And then the Society for, Outstanding Speaker is in the speech and debate area, the overall best speaker for the year. And then the Society of Professional Journalists Award is to someone who contributes to the chapter and helps them to grow and develop. These different chapters, the professional thing, it's about networking as well as skill-based for many of them. And so finding ways to engage the professionals in the community is really important. So that's it about us. We'll move back to Zach for a discussion, but we have Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We'd love to have you connect with us, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Peggy, for giving a nice overview, and as well as Bob for his input. I know that a lot of valuable information is covered in terms of giving a sense of who the program is and what you can do from that. I know that a lot of students and students of potential students, or parents of potential students, look to get the student perspective. And I know that we've talked a little bit about kind of allowing the current students to talk on their time enrollment.
Great. So do you want to share with us why, you can introduce yourself one more time, and then just share with us why you chose John Carroll and communication specifically. Gwen, do you want to start?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Gwen Ledrick. I'm currently a junior. So I initially chose John Carroll for athletics. I'm a swimmer here. So when I came here, I was swimming and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then halfway through my freshman year, I switched my major to IMC because I was looking at like the different classes and opportunities that were available in the department. And I absolutely fell in love with like what I could be doing with my major. I loved the classes. They seemed interesting to me. And like ever since then, I haven't ever complained about school. I've loved all my classes and I'm so happy I've chosen communication. Dr. Finucane, you're on mute.
Sorry. Thanks, Gwen. And Morgan, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience?
Yes. Hi, I'm Morgan Jackum. I am also a current junior at John Carroll. And I chose John Carroll. Both my parents and one of my older sisters went to John Carroll. And when I came to look at John Carroll, it just felt like the perfect fit for me. And I knew that I wanted to go into the communication department with the more creative aspect of marketing. And they also had the entrepreneurship program too. So everything that I was looking for in the programs that I wanted at a university, I found at John Carroll, and I have loved all of my classes and the opportunities that have gone with that as well.
Thanks, Morgan. Eddie, as an alum, do you want to share a little bit with us about your experience, why John Carroll, and maybe even a little bit about what you've done since graduating?
Sure. I'm Eddie Murata. I graduated in 2019. And for me, my John Carroll story was a little bit different. I had my great-grandfather played football at John Carroll in the late 1930s. And he's a Hall of Famer at John Carroll. So I kind of grew up around campus and knew that I wanted to come to Carroll. But my experience at the university, I think, is what set everything up for me post-graduation. I just completed an internship with the New England Patriots for this past season. And now I'm actually back working at John Carroll. When I was at Carroll, I did a lot of digital media. That was my concentration. I ended up going into public relations, which is kind of the opposite spectrum of communication. But the classwork that I did at John Carroll helped me prepare for that more than I ever could have imagined as a student, and now has led into, hi Bob, and now has led into my work with the IMC department. And I couldn't speak more highly of my experience at John Carroll.
Eddie, could you tell us a little bit about how some of the skills that you learned as a student transferred to the workplace?
Sure. Well, I think my answer would have been different as a student. Now that I'm an alum and I look back on my experience, I thought in digital media and with the work that I was doing around campus, I did social media for the football team, and I worked in the sports information department. I thought that I was gearing up to go into social media as a profession. And then when the opportunity presented itself in public relations with the Patriots, it was a little bit of a division from what I was used to, what I was preparing to extracurricular. And then when I got into the experience, I quickly learned that the classroom experience and specifically the writing, you become a great writer at John Carroll through rigorous classwork, and in addition to the extracurriculars, keeping your schedule packed because of all the things that you can get involved with, really helped me prepare myself without knowing it for those 90 and 100-hour work weeks that I ended up going through. But in terms of the actual experience, it was the writing, and a lot of the different classwork from crisis communication when you're working in a field like that, all the way through even the social media stuff that I was doing, because you kind of cross over a little bit. All of those things really help prepare me without me realizing it at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Another question that I think students might be interested in is, what's it like in the department? What does it mean to be a student in the communication department? Gwen?
So this question I've actually thought about a little bit. So throughout my experience here, I'm now a junior, so I'm in a lot of like the upper level communication classes, but I've realized that there's this whole community within the communication school that I haven't really seen in other places. Like, you know, a lot of like your classmates. I walk into a class, I can probably say hi to everybody. I'm happy to work in a group project with anybody. You learn other people's skills, and like it's a very collaborative and community oriented like department, and that's something I really appreciate personally, and that's what I've really thrived in with being a student.
Thanks, Gwen. Morgan, do you want to share a little bit about your experience, what it's been like?
Yes, I agree with everything that Gwen had to offer there. And then just building off of that, I think those skills that we learn in the collaborative environment, so many of the projects and assignments that we do with the communication department are group projects. And I think that is a very important skill to learn. As we go into a work environment, we are going to be collaborating with so many other individuals and learning how to emphasize and use other people's skills to get the job and project done to the best of the ability is really important. So I think that we're learning those skills now, and we'll be able to use those in the future and down the line.
Good, thanks, Morgan. Eddie, is there anything you want to add to that? I mean, you talked quite a bit about how it integrated for your work experience, but is there anything else that you feel we need to hear?
Yeah, I think the relationships is a big part of the communication department. For example, I never had Professor Knoll for a class, but just from seeing him around and catching up with him, the relationships were always something that was extremely important. And I think for my experience, John Carroll really allowed me to break out of my shell. I was a little bit introverted when I got into college, and that was part of the reason why I chose communication. Aside from the stuff that I enjoyed doing, I already knew that I liked working in digital media platforms. But what I didn't anticipate was just how well I would come in as a freshman and develop as a person outside of just knowing how to push buttons. And that was because of the relationships that you build, not only with your students, but with the faculty that's around, because everybody takes such a great care for you on a personal level, not only just what your work is in the classroom. And that was the one thing that was really important for me. And I know that I couldn't have gotten to where I went and ultimately where I am now without that.
Great, thank you. Bob, could you talk a little bit about why our students are successful in the industry, like what kinds of jobs, particularly from the media perspective?
John Carroll has a lot of graduates that are all over the place throughout the United States, from coast to coast. And they know that students know that when they're going for internships or going for jobs, so many people in the industries, we're talking in media, not only in public relations and marketing, but also in broadcast, we have such a great reputation, so that they love to have an intern or hire somebody from John Carroll. We have such a great network. Second thing, our students really have lots of experience because of those 4 years of attending, really good classes, but also getting those activities that we talked about before, how valuable that is. So they know a lot. They know about the real world. And I think that is what makes it special. And the fact that one thing I've noticed as someone who's taught in many other colleges, we have the best students. They're pleasure to teach. People get along very well. Everybody gets really close to one another. They work together so well. It's just a great environment to be in. And I think people help each other too. Alums help other alums too. I want to say one other thing, don't want to forget, is that, we do have the Tim Russert Meet the Press opportunity every year by seniors, where one student from either communication or political science has an opportunity to spend 9 months working and Meet the Press in Washington. We give them a fellowship. This is an incredible opportunity. And one thing that is really encouraging is, as someone who's been in Washington a few times with some of the NBC people, they love John Carroll and NBC and the network. They really do. They really do. And they really respect our students, because every one of our interns, when they leave, before they leave, they're always have an opportunity to work for NBC full time afterwards. Some students decided not to go into that business, but a lot of them had that opportunity, and they've done really well.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, I would agree. It's a fantastic opportunity, and really, if you are interested in politics and media, it's a perfect choice for someone to build a resume that makes them an ideal candidate. We have a lot of good candidates, and it's really been a beneficial program for our students. For one last kind of thing, you now have the opportunity to say to a potential student, a student who's interested in John Carroll, we'd love to have you join us. What would you like them to know that would help them make a decision? Gwen, do you want to start?
Yeah, so that's a tough question, because I've had the best experience at John Carroll. I couldn't see myself anywhere else. I've been able to grow on like such a personal, professional level in all areas. I'm still able to have meaningful connections with professors, friends. I'm able to get involved on things on campus that are relevant to my major, yet I'm still interested. You also can start things on campus. You can start clubs, you can take initiative. There's so many opportunities to get involved, to like build your own story at John Carroll, and we offer so many of those opportunities that I couldn't be more grateful for. I'm able to do athletics, I'm able to have an internship on campus, do well in my classes, and that's all because John Carroll just gives you the resources that you need to succeed. I'd say come to Carroll, I couldn't see myself anywhere else. I'm extremely happy and blessed to be at such an amazing place, and I'm sure everybody here can second that. But John Carroll really is the best fit for you if you want to grow on a personal, professional level, and you just want to expand your journey in life. So I love John Carroll. Yes.
Thanks, Gwen. We appreciate that. Morgan, do you want to share anything else?
Yeah, so for me, coming to John Carroll, I really wanted to set my own path, following in my parents and my sister's footsteps. I wanted something that was unique to myself, and the John Carroll community has provided that, and far beyond what I even expected that to do for me. I have been able to get involved in not only the account department and have an internship on campus, but also get involved in Greek life and have leadership positions on campus. And then there was not a running club on campus when I started, so I took that upon myself to start that when I was a freshman. So those are opportunities that you don't always have at other schools, and John Carroll has provided me opportunities to grow both professionally but also personally and get outside my comfort zone.
Thanks, Morgan. Eddie, what would you say to someone who's on the fence or thinking about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I would actually like to share a short story that I think sums up what it means to be part of the John Carroll family, and something that's completely unique to us. The first week when I was with the Patriots, the first week of the preseason, we were in Detroit for joint practices and then a preseason game. And as part of that week, we had a mandatory meeting, the PR staff addressing all of the players and all of the coaches on how to conduct themselves in front of the media and in front of fans in social media atmosphere. I hadn't really gotten to know anybody yet because it was very early on in my experience there, but I did know that there were a few John Carroll guys on staff with the Patriots. And we get into this meeting, and a week into my internship, right after graduating from John Carroll, I'm up in front of all of these guys and there's about 5 people on the PR staff total. And everybody's introducing themselves. I'm so-and-so, I went to University of Georgia. Everybody's silent. You could tell none of the players wanted to be there. And as an intern, I was naturally last. And I said, I'm Eddie Murata, and I attended John Carroll University. And then before I could finish saying university, the entire room erupted. And I got boos, I got cheers. Everybody had a reaction. All the John Carroll guys that were on the coaching staff were standing up cheering. And it was just so funny to see the look on everybody's faces, because I'm 600 miles away from home, and everybody knew and had an opinion about John Carroll that far away. And you think about it as a small college in Cleveland, and it really, once you're a part of it, it means so much more than that.
Thanks, Eddie. I think you probably have heard really some good ideas and opinions about what it means to be at John Carroll, and we hope you'll consider joining us. Zach?
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hopefully the remarks and kind of suggestions from everyone gave you a good feeling for what it means to be in the Tim Russert Communication Department. Hopefully you found the presentation to be both informational and enjoyable. For those of you students who have not yet committed to John Carroll, please keep in mind that the next steps are listed in your JCU Gateway. If you do have any specific questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to your specific enrollment manager, and we can put you in contact with anyone who discussed the programs today. And thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to hear from us.